Um,
Alright, we are live here with the WFRA Porsche Cup. Let's move. Alright, anyways. We are live here with WFRA Porsche Cup once again. We are set out for qualifying. Currently 5 cars out here. List of drivers. We got Muffin, we got Hiram FX2, Dabcat, Performance Engineer, and Jen. So, pretty fun lineup for today so far. Not sure what Jen's doing. But anyways. Giram, I mean. I'm not sure what Giram's doing. Let's see if we get a few names. Yeah, we can. Alright, well that should help everything a little bit more in this broadcast, Nico. It is up to you then.
Alright, is everybody ready? We get an orange shot from everybody. Alright. But I don't care if you're hungry, Jen. Ask if you're ready or not.
Listen, man, you can warm up some ramen in between this qualifying session. I mean, there's 10 minutes to work with.
I'm ready to... Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright. With that, if everybody is ready, we're going to erase all times here. Why did they not erase?
I'll do it.
Yeah, it's not erasing for me. Thank you. Qualifying is on, and green is out.
Alright, the lights turn green on the racetrack. Looks like Jen is going to work with his food. Meanwhile, side by side for the front of this field. I believe we have slightly different qualifying rules in SLC, so there is not a pack lead to my knowledge.
I guess you could commentate like there is one, but you know, it doesn't really matter.
I'll proceed anyways. So if you were here last week and you would have seen the Rossmond race, this is the same track, the Goteborg Roadcourse, excuse me. We go into the braking point, the hairpin. Second hairpin here, and Muffin has made the crossover, but here is Giram FX2 looking at the inside on the second to last corner. Now makes the pass on the final turn, but he's got to slap the outside wall on the exit. Muffin across the start-finish line to start their first timed lap. Technically at the front of the field, but Giram FX2 right behind them into turn 3. Here we go. It's a beautiful looking exit out of the silver Porsche driven by Giram FX2. Making our way through the tunnel. Purple sector 1 for Giram FX2. It is the oval corner. Turn 4 into 5. Getting out of the oval. Of course, if you were there in yesterday's race, you would have seen that the track had banking. Just the way this track is set up, the road course is flat at the current time, at least as of this recording. This is live stream actually. Has been that way. We go side by side for the front of the field here. Giram FX2. Does he go top the board? Yes, he does. A 54.881, but Performance Engineer, look at that, 54.280, takes it away. Performance Engineer has looked good. Oh man, Giram FX2 just weaving the tires. I think he's trying to sandbag, see what Performance Engineer is doing. Performance Engineer mirrors it, he weaves it. Make our way through the oval corner, and now of the oval. Turn sits into 7, the hairpin. Performance Engineer peeking over for a bit. Gets a little bit less out of the exit. He's sandbagging, trying to keep Giram FX2 away from the techniques that he is doing here today. He had a purple sector 1, so he threw away this lap. For whatever reason, there really is. Muffin going to make their way across the line, and they get a little bit better there at 55.658. Now everyone here is pretty much just out here having a fun time in this class, of course. So Sector 1 coming up here as they make their way out of the tunnel. There's some improvement coming out. Gear FX2. Green Sector 2 for Gear. Easily could be taking pole away. They get a good lap here. All the way to the green curb off of turn 7. Green Sector 2. Muffin it with some improvement, but they're going to back it off. They also weave Gear FS2 across the line. It's not going to be pole. Something about that Sector 3 is just a little bit off. They do improve, though, 54.696. Not a bad time overall. However, there is about half a second there till they can just about reach what Performance Engineer is capable of. $19 for that Sector 1. If you're here last weekend, the Rotsmans were just barely able to crack the 1 minute mark, but these cars, these Porsche 911s, they are significantly faster. We got Performance Engineer with a purple Sector 1 and 2 making their way into the final turn. Performance Engineer down the front straight. Do they take an even faster time? That they do, 53.899. We have cracked 54 seconds. Qualifying is just about halfway done. Cars making their way through the tunnel. A purple Sector 1 once again for Performance Engineer. He has entered some form of flow state. We have seen the history of Performance Engineer at this track. Gear FX2 goes wide, puts Performance Engineer to the technical front. Now, Perf has had a mixed history at this track. A little flashback, I believe it was 2022. Of course, the infamous Rodsman flip that Performance Engineer had. The only time I've ever seen a flip at this track. It just happened to be, unfortunately, Performance Engineer that particular day. And he will do some tire waving, backs it off. Muffin backs it off, they break. Gear FX2 is slowing down, so looks like everyone just about is. See Dabcat tire warming. Alright, well, just about 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Gearms across the final turn. Gearm now across the line. No major improvement there, but for a Performance Engineer, of course, the last time by 53.549. And looks like Perf backs it off into the final corner.
Three minutes left.
Performance Engineer gonna pull it into the pits. Is he gonna go for a pit stop? Try to get some fresh tires on that car. See in a moment. Eating some food. Meth heads to now the final turn into the front straight. Second on the board, inbound sectors. That might have just been about a cut off of turn 1. How about Dabcat side by side with Chen? 54 into the 57, getting that into the oval back straight, the tunnel. Dabcat currently situated 5th place in standings, Jen in 3rd. as of right now. Just a matter of minutes left on the clock. Might just about be enough time for 2 more laps. As Jen again, that invalid sector 1. Meanwhile, it's side by side between Jen and Dabcat. Guillermo FX2 has made their way across the line. They just about have enough time to slide in 2 more laps. And I'll tell you, even though there's about a second difference between the overall best times between Jen and Dabcat, both these drivers very close to each other have been. So clearly we'll be seeing some racing here. As for lap times, another invalid sector 1 for Guillermo FX2. That's the lap by. This is going to be the last lap. White flag is going to come out here. Muffin with a green sector 1. They're making their way through sector 2. Guillermo FX2, the final lap, more than likely. Judging by the time, we don't have any virtual pack lead rules, and I believe he is the technical pack lead.
30 seconds.
So here he goes down the tunnel. Let's switch over briefly to Muffin. Muffin entering their final lap. They make their way across the line. It's not going to improve enough. Does not improve that time by that good sector 1 and 2 into the final lap here. How about Jen? This opportunity to maybe get a little bit faster, but let's switch back to Guillermo FX2. The checker flag comes out.
Once you have finished your lap, that will be it.
Here comes Guillermo FX2, the number 5 silver Porsche across the line. That'll wrap up their qualifying.
Right, please stop when you've finished.
They do improve just a little bit there, but it's not going to be enough. That's going to be it for Jen and Dabcat as well. Now for Muffin. Muffin's just going to pull it off here. I believe that is everybody. So we'll put the reds out. Alright. I don't think these things have a draft, do they?
Oh, they do.
They do. Let's see.
Alright. Everybody's finished. Let me see. 2, 3, 4. We are missing 1. Where are they? Dab, you were meant to stop after the start finish.
Yeah, he's doing a cooldown lap.
Just make sure to cross the start finish when you're done that cooldown. Alright. With that, I will give you all a little 5-minute break. Use bathroom, do whatever you need to. And then we'll get back into, again, the start ready. Five minutes starts now.
Alright, so Nico, after this qualifying is done, would you like to clear out the extra cars that are not in the field? Let's see. Alright, I guess he's not here. Well, it's been an interesting weekend. Quite a bit of racing, completely different tracks, 3 different tracks to be specific. 2 of them here at Goteborg, though. Of course, we managed to see quite a bit of different styles of racing. We saw short track racing on Thursday in the lower 48 back in Ohio. Yesterday, there was, of course, the Viking 100 that was ran. Very, very interesting finish. And after hearing that there is a draft system, that may definitely make some interesting racing coming out for today's race. So we'll see if that becomes another factor here. Of course, the Rossmont race was a bit lackluster last weekend, so I have high hopes for the Porsches to put up something. It's a pretty competitive field. Of course, Performance Engineer, Gear Methods 2, both of them pretty good drivers. Jen, Dabcat, of course, Muffin. All of them have some pretty good history overall. I don't recall Jen having a win in SLC, however, he has won many other events. So Jen overall a pretty decent driver. We'll be seeing a lot of competition throughout our small 5-car field. And you know, there's a saying that I have when it comes to these small fields. That is that you do not need a big field to make a big race. You can make some pretty fun racing, pretty exciting racing overall, as long as the 5 drivers that you get tend to be pretty competitive. And knowing these guys, they definitely are. Of course, don't count Guerin out. He managed to completely dominate the Track Loans Patriot Grand Prix race with the Porsche Cup. So he might have an edge. He didn't realize there was a draft, so he stayed up there in the front. That's what costed him that pole position. He didn't back off. That's why a lot of these guys, I guess, were actually leaving. They started realizing that draft was, in fact, a factor. So I think with that knowledge in mind, he's going to be a lot more competitive. I also see that Tails has joined the stream, so hello there, Tails. We're gonna put that stream up on announcements. Anyways, yeah. I think there's about a minute left, a little over a minute. This track also has a pretty cool podium. We had these trophies last week, had them also yesterday night. So we'll see. I see Purpose joined the amenities provided by SCRA, the free croissants, barbecue. That's shawarma. And Crake Energy. See Dabcat pulling out with Nate Payne's car. Not Nate Payne. I keep calling him that. The Flavor Pack car. 96. Of course, Nate's car over there. We'll see. Yes, that is my friend Bjorn. I think I made that model like 4 or 5 years ago.
All right. 5 minutes are up, everybody. Get into your cars, get to the start finish.
Alright, hopefully everyone does their pit stops, gets your fuel. Nico, if you could brief these guys about the pit rules. It's been a bit of a hot minute for a lot of these drivers. Some of these guys, I think, it might be their first time. I think Perf hasn't raced yet. Nico, would you, by chance, like the extra cars to get taken off the track?
1 second. Let me pull up something here. All right. Well, everybody here is decently competent, so I won't go too in depth into the rules because everybody should know. But I will list out a couple of the rules that most people won't know. You know, just one-off things that we've done for this specific league. Do we want to delete the extra cars? Yeah, I'd say at this point in time it's a little too late for people to join. So we're
All right.
gonna everybody who
How?
has a car who's in the
Yeah.
race, line up at the start finish, please.
Yeah. Just wait for everyone to get lined up before we start removing all these extra cars. Remember
That's
when you guys
exactly
pit, please use the pit with your number. I could delete the extra. Uh, are these number stands? Are they just cosmetic?
what the
The
numbers by the pits?
Yeah, the number for the cars. Is that completely cosmetic?
What, on the side of the car?
No, on the in the pit lane, like there are numbers. Like
No, leave those. That's just for the pit boxes. We need it's so people understand which pit box there is.
yeah, I know. I was just wondering if it'd be easier for the drivers if there's only the pit
I
boxes, the
mean,
cars that remain.
just leave them. Just
Okay.
leave them. They need to learn how to get into their pits properly.
Okay. Jen has an issue. I think. I'm not sure. Here, hop out.
Jen, get out your car. Jen, Jen, you're fine. What do you fuck?
This is like a little 5-year-old kid drowning in 1 foot deep water.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, Jen. Sure. Alright, you guys know your positions. Performance engineering first place. Giram, FX2 second. Muffin third. Jen fourth. Dabcat fifth. Get into your pit boxes, please. Oh, there's not pit boxes, but grid boxes.
I'm gonna rejoin the game real quickly. Alright, we're just gonna rejoin the game. Just to get everything out of the way. Had some lag issues there for a second there, so hopefully this will fix it. Knowing me, it's just gonna be the worst. But
Okay. As of now, I will go over some of the rules. So everybody could just get their bearings. Since this is I believe, your first time racing. You'll already know how all the flags work. We'll skip through that. We have warnings. Drivers will get a warning before they get a drive-through penalty. Warnings are either gained for excessive corner cuts, causing any sort of caution, or disobeying race control. Right? With a drive-through penalty, if a driver has been given a drive-through penalty, they must drive all the way through the pits. Drivers will have 3 laps to complete their drive-through penalty. You are not allowed to pit at this time. If a driver is to be found pitting during a drive-through, it will not be counted, and you will still need to serve it. All right.
Nico, I
All right.
just realized
If
there's
you
a
have a
slight.
drive-through penalty,
You know,
what?
do your meeting. I'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Yes. If you have a drive-through penalty, and for example, if you are on the last lap and you just got a corner cut that made you get a drive-through penalty, but you've already crossed the line, you will be gaining a time penalty at the end of your put onto the end of your time, which could change your position. Those will range from a second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and 10 seconds additional added time. Alright? You will go up the amount of time depending on how many drive-throughs you have taken and decided not to follow through with them. If let's see. Right, so the main thing that you guys are going to need to know is mainly pitting, refueling, and tire changing. So with pitting, there will be a pit window. Alright, this pit window will be open for the whole race. The only time that it will close is when a yellow flag is called. When a yellow flag is called, pit lane will be closed. And you are only allowed to enter it when a race official has deemed it to be open. You'll have one lap, right, to choose if you want to go in or not. If you don't, forever hold your peace. You are not allowed, I'll make this very clear, you are not allowed to drive through everybody's pit boxes. You must stay on the pit lane, road, go into your pit box, and then come back to the pit lane road to continue down. If I see you cutting through all the pit lane boxes, you'll be given a warning and or a drive-through penalty. For refueling and tire changing, you must be in your pit box to do these. To tire change, you jump out your car and you jump back in. Your tires will be reset. To refuel, you must hold down the button X on your keyboard. If you're using controller, I actually do not know what the button is that you must press. So have a keyboard. That will be mainly all the rules that you guys are really going to need to follow for this race. I do apologize if it's a bit, what's the word? Unprofessional, but we're not exactly a huge league. So
I got
continue.
I got some questions. One, what is the CC limit?
We will run the CC limit today as, let's see.
I've calculated roughly 50 to 51, so I have it to about 51.
51. Cool. We're going to put the corner cut limit today as 60 then.
Okay.
I think that should be... It might be a lot, but also the corner cuts are quite strict. So... be happy that I'm giving you all a thing.
Alright.
I will be watching you all like a hawk. Your corner cut limit is 60, but if I see you constantly cutting, you'll be given a warning. Right?
I will. Can you guys stop revving?
Yes. I would like everybody to jump out of their cars, please.
This is just a preliminary AFK check. Yeah, you guys are burning fuel when you rev, so just an FYI. This is a 50+ lap race. Everyone has crossed the line, so I'm gonna. Can I change everyone's lap to 0? Here you go.
Yes. Change reset laps, reset everything.
All right. Well, we got performance documented as pole position. We do pole points. I'm gonna reset the board.
Okay, that is all set up. When you guys are ready, hop back in your cars. Please do not rev them yet.
Alright, lights are black. Nico, I do not recommend you do a countdown, because if you do, people are just gonna jump and time it. I suggest so the lights are black. We don't have start lights, so the best we could do, Jab, if you could back it up to your spot, thank you. The best I would suggest you do. Okay. I would suggest for you to change the lights to green when you're ready. So there you go. There's the flags.
But even with lights, they usually have a slight countdown.
Not just the lights, but like the actual display. They're synchronized. I would say.
Yeah, but they're not near the drivers.
No, the light it's black right now. The flag color is black.
Oh, you mean at the top of the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Alright.
So you can change that to green when it's ready to go. And personally, if I was you, I would change that. If I was gonna do a randomized start, since we don't have start lights, I would suggest you just turn that to green when everyone's ready.
Personally, I'm just gonna probably just do countdown. It's a small race. It's not that
All
serious
right.
at the end of the day.
All right.
And we're not gonna have much chaos going on anyhow.
All right. I'm gonna do a
All
top-down
right.
view then. I'm gonna do a top-down view.
As I've stated, do not rev your cars.
I'll be reviewing the start, by the way, just for everyone. So Nico, if you want to briefly talk about the penalties for jumping the start. Anything?
Yes. If you jump the start, you will be given a drive-through penalty.
Can we brief them on what the CD looks like, so they could know when to go?
Sure.
Okay.
So do not go, please. But you will be seeing a countdown at the top of your screen. You are only supposed to go when the timer hits 0. As the timer hits 0, you are allowed to go. If I see anybody going before then, drive-through penalty.
Alright, Nico, I suggest, I'm gonna do a top-down so you can review the start. So, alright, I'm ready.
Alright, can everybody give me an R in chat? Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4.
One, two, three.
We are missing. Who are we missing?
Giram. Wait, not Giram. Dabcat, Giram. That's everyone, I think.
Oh, that's everybody? Okay, that's what everybody.
3, 4, 5.
Okay, get ready. Countdown is going.
Watch this from top down.
10. Go.
That looks like a clean start.
Yep.
Here we go, into one, 3 wide. Beautiful looking start there by Chen, but here we go. Turn number 2. Performance engineer on the attack. Here comes Giram. Giram gets through, 4 wide in the back of the field. Giram FX2 at the lead, but right behind him is performance engineer. I'm not sure what technique Muffin is doing there. She gets out of the draft. Rejoining from 4th place, but here is Jen up there, 2nd place, making her way up into the 2nd hairpin. Performance engineer, Jen, side by side between Muffin and performance engineering. That's a little bit of a cut there. And 60 cc's, that'll be the corner cut limit, at least according to Nico. Here we go into turn number 1. Giram FX2 leads the first lap. Jen gets wide, goes off the track into the sand trap off of 1. They'll keep their position, keep it under control. Muffin is up in 3rd place. Your pole sitter, performance engineer, they had one heck of a rough start, but here they go with a bit of an advantage of draft into turn 4. Field makes their way through the oval corner, now out of the oval. Sits, corner number 7, the 2nd hairpin. Is a 3-car pack up there for 2nd place. Performance engineer going to slide into the podium. Make the way by Muffin. Now here they go around the outside. Will make the move on Jen. Muffin right behind. Here FS2 looks like they got a pretty clean race going on here. Performance engineer gets a little bit offline out of turn number 3. There is the same things we saw yesterday. Giram FS2 tries to break the draft, come into the oval corner. Oh, but they hit the outside wall. Performance engineer takes the lead. Big mistake there for GearMFX2. Meanwhile, we go side by side for the last spot on the podium. The 57 driven by Jen and the number 14 driven by Muffin. Jen gonna hit the outside wall off the exit, off the final corner. Dabcat makes her way through. Now Dabcat, I don't think they were here the last race, but here we go side by side for the lead. Guillermo looks at the outer line. He will cross back to the inside. Performance engineer looks like he'll be up there in the front. Now into the hairpin. Guillermo looks at the inside of the SEP driven by performance engineer. The tighter line. GearMFX2 with a push to the front of the field, and GearMFX2 is taking the lead, but performance engineer right on his inside coming to the first corner. GearMFX2 going to stay ahead. But boy, Perf is just right there, but Jen is just... I wouldn't say Jen. GearMFX2...
Jen, verbal warning. Keep it clean. Stop cutting.
Looks like some grievances there with the host. GearMFX2 into the hairpin. They have taken the lead upon the last lap. We're about 10% through today's race. We go into the first corner. GearMFX2. He is starting to build up a bit of a gap there, about half a second the lap, half a second the difference here. The performance engineer. Now the last race that the Porsche Cup Series managed to run, this was a complete race of domination by GearMFX2. He was about to get that done once again today, made a little bit of a slip up. Of course, you know GearMFX2 is just a natural when it comes to track loans, and this track being Goteborg, it's a bit of a unique one. Of course, it's been about 2 years since it really ran racing. We didn't really have any racing going on last year except for the oval. Finally, the road course has seen some action last week, and we are back in action side by side for the lead. Looked to be a slightly better exit done by GearMFX2. Is back up in the front of the field. Boy, Perf is on the attack. Here he goes, climbing up, clawing his way to the lead. Just a little bit of dirty air there. Let's see if that's a factor. Just about a car length here. Great line done by performance engineer through the second hairpin. See Guillermo trying to flick left. Haven't really seen that technique work too many times here, but here we go once again. I think this is side by side for the lead. Does performance carry the speed into one? Yes, he does. Performance engineer, your new leader. GearMFX2 still on the attack into turn number 3. Carrying speed upon the exit. Performance engineer side by side once again, but it looks like he might be carrying speed on the exit. Performance engineer taking the lead once again. When these two are not able to get away from each other. Hear him around the inside. Trying to claw up into position. And he does that leg flip. It almost looks like when he does that left flick on the left to right, just kind of hurts his time a little bit. I don't know if it's really just me tweaking, but it might reflect on the lap times. Performance engineer still, that being said, has taking back the lead, but Performance and Kirim do a crossover once again into the back straight. We are through the oval turn. Performance Engineer. You know, these two have just been trying to really go back and forth. Kirim looks like he's trying to peek a little bit there through the second hairpin. Now to the final corner. We go side by side into one. Does look like Perf is still going around the lead. And it looks like Kirim here trying to break the draft, although he's behind Perf actually. Was behind. Here we go. Another dive bomb into turn 3. Perf will be at the front on the exit. It's just been a heck of a battle between these two. By the way, off screen, I did forget to mention Jen has made the pass for 4th place on Dabcat. We just had a lot of action for the lead. This time by we'll be seeing lap 10 complete itself. And boy, did Performance Engineer get all the way wide off of the second hairpin. Lap 10 has been completed. Perf might be starting to walk a little bit from Kirim if that's 2. Might have hit that outside wall, gets all the way flicked out of shape there off of turn 3. Here's Perf trying to break the draft. They go inside, they go outside into turn 4. It's a very valid technique in the oval race yesterday. It was nearly used by Evan to hold off Twin till the very end. It was only up to Twin to time that move just right to make it work. Now, there's a lot of debate between whether weaving works or not. I've seen in many tank chassis races, it's a very similar script, a lot of these, where it's usually better just to go straight. We'll start weaving. Now that is considering the fact that they lock in on speed. So when they do weave like that, they do tend to stay at a constant speed, so they end up covering a larger distance. These cars are accelerating, of course, so that may switch things up just a little bit. It's a good looking turn by Kirim FX2. Perf is going to go wide, and Kirim taking the lead once again. I keep on confusing Jen for whatever reason. It's been a little while, about a month or so. But Kirim is back up front. I mean, Perf just went completely off the track, off the second hairpin, bent out of shape. Seems to be one of the weaker corners here for Kirim FX2. He's going to take the inside line. Perf is seeming to experiment with the draft. See if he needs to weave or not. And of course, these cars aren't at a constant speed, so weaving is not as detrimental as it is with tank chassis cars. Generally, the tank chassis, you want to just kind of set up the inside and try to cut them off just at the last second to get them off guard, and hope for them not to kill you. Not really a factor of non-collide H chassis racing. We do see it as a factor though. Get Bob and weaving out of Kirim FX2 into 1. Boy, he carries a lot of speed out of that corner. Maybe too much speed. Kirim FX2 hits the outside wall once again off of turn 3. And that's been his trouble. That's genuinely been his trouble corner all race. It's been turn number 3. Saw a little bit of an issue early on in the oval corner transition into sector 2. Going to turn 3 once again. A little bit more conservative that time out. The silver Porsche driven by Guillaume FX2 is going to bob and weave a little bit, trying to break the draft off from Performance Engineer. But look at Performance Engineer, purple sector 1. Purple sector 2 for Guillaume FX2. These two are just about in a flow state. Both of them just completely locked into it. That time for both of them has been invalid. Just a matter of thousands has separated them. Guillaume FX2 runs wide off of 1. Now, as for CCs, there is a driver that's a little bit at risk here. That's Jen, 25. Of course, the CC limit's 60, but we're only just about a quarter way through the race, and he's already just about halfway done. So hopefully Jen manages his corner cuts a little better. Just been about doing clean laps here for Guillaume FX2. Time by. I mean, Perf is just little by little, just a tiny bit quicker every lap. We'll be seeing if there's any desire to do pit stops. I don't think that's the current question at all. I don't even think in the next 10 laps it's a question. These cars seem to be going quite quick. We've seen purple sectors. They do seem to kind of go through a bit of a range where they get very tight when they're fresh out of the bots. So that is a factor to consider. Kind of loosening them up gets kind of a little bit better for a good bit. It's kind of almost like a tire warming, though. These tires should have been well warmed by now. Across the line, we'll check those lap times. That's definitely a better time for Guillaume FX2. He's going to try the outside curb off of turn 2. Now, the Rots mods, they were really not able to take advantage of that curb. I'm really not sure if that is an advantage of these cars or not, so we'll see in just a moment. Did look like Performance Engineer got a significantly better Sector 1, a couple tenths to gain. Here, FX2 once again weaving into the left to right corner, second to last turn. A purple sector 2 for Performance Engineer. That gap is starting to close in once again. Half a second. Boy, did you put a work on Guillaume over that last lap. Purple sector 2 and 3 coming out. Performance Engineer. Guillaume is once again back to bobbing and weaving down the oval straight. Oval back straight into the oval corner. Performance is putting a lot of work here on Guillaume FX2, though he gets a little bit of a worse one out through the second hairpin. My boy. Performance is putting a workout on Guillaume FX2's hands. Slightly worse lap that time by, but only just a few hundreds have been lost that last time by. Could be worse. Jen getting a little bit loose off of 2. He's going to go all the way down to the inside. Do a little bit of bob and weaving. Get back to the outside, coming into the oval turn. Oh, looked like he might have slapped that outside wall ever so slightly. This is a close gap here once again into the hairpin. I think we're about to see another battle stir up here. Bit of a cut there for Garen, but it looks like did gain a little bit. But performance, he's in draft range. Here's performance side by side. He will make the pass for the lead into one. Performance engineer still under attack by Garam FX2. Here's Garam into turn number 3. Garam gonna get the lead back. But performance is right behind him. He will gain exit speed. I think a little bit of draft helps him into the oval turn. And these two just genuinely are unable to get away from each other. Incredible battle going on today. Side by side between Garam and Performance Engineer into the final corner. Looks like we have our first lap car. That'll be Dabcat in the 54. That draft is going to help out your leaders. He's got to get some premier seats to watch this battle as it breaks down. Garam FX2 going to go all the way to the outside. Performance Engineer, he's just bumper to bumper right now, but he's going to push his way through. A little bit of aid to draft here. Performance Engineer to the lead. And now into the second hairpin. Garam looks at the inside. They go side by side. Garam coming to the inner line. And again, it's that little left to right flick, and I really don't know how much that helps Garam. Gets a pretty good line off the edge of the final corner. Here we are side by side for the lead. Performance looking a little bit at the front, but Garam's gonna cross over, takes it back into turn number 3. All right, Nico, how are we looking like on time?
We have gone way past the initial time that we were meant to end, but that's perfectly fine.
What do you mean?
Well, with I got my timings a little bit wrong. So the race was supposed to end around 2 o'clock. It's now 2:01, but the race hasn't been going on for 45 minutes, so we just started late.
How's the timer looking?
E.
Was there a timer?
Oh, no, there is. 1 second. So we got some bad news. My phone died. So that's not good.
All right. Well, if we roughly
Don't worry,
calculate the times. I think I actually calculated the laps for it being 45 minutes. So, wait, 40 minutes, 2 seconds, 2,400 divided. What do you think would be like an average? 53.
I don't know. An average would probably be around I would say realistically 50, 54, 50, like 54.5.
Okay. In that case, this race should be 45 laps, actually. So, should we,
45 laps? Alright. We'll just go until 45, right?
Okay.
I'll make it an official statement. At 45 laps, the race will be over.
Alright.
Bit of an issue here. Dabcat has left the voice chat.
That is because he is on phone. So. Oh, we got a pitter. Garam FX2 into the pits. He will stop in his box. He gets out of his car, gets back in it. And he will get back out. And he stays through the pit boxes on his exit. Alright, Jab, I'll stream for you. That's probably a lot of the reason for his issues. I think we all kind of forgot to mention that, but Dabcat needs somebody to stream. But that being said, Performance Engineer, he is staying out. We'll see if he goes in this lap. His main competitor, the last leader, was Gear MFX 2. Performance Engineers opted to stay out for the time being. That being said, first stage, your leader, about 17 seconds of loss coming out of Gear MFX 2. Kind of looks like I think Jen did a pit stop. Or had some sort of issue. About to fall risk of 2 laps down, actually. Let's jump back to your leader, Performance Engineering, in the blue number 7 Porsche 911. This is a big time to consider if one should stay out or if one should pit. Looks like Guillermo has opted to go for the pit stop. He's closing down the gap. We saw this become a factor on the final lap at the first race of the Porsche Cup Series, of course, at Sebring. Twin Triple V6 opted to stay out the entire race. We saw it work, we saw it not work at other times. I believe I think Guillermo did pit as well during the Track Alonso race, but he was able to get away with it because he pitted, or because he was so far ahead. I believe I opted to stay out, if I recall correctly. So how short the race was. And that worked out to stay in second place by the end of it. But if we go back to the last, the first race, I very much so distinctly remember that was the race where Twin decided not to do a pit stop, and he held the lead for so long, but come the final lap, his tires were dead, and he just could not hold against Muffin. That's how Muffin got the first win. So, you know, those are situations for when you stay out for so long. Something to consider. Now, this track tends to be a little bit on the tighter side. It is a much grippier track than Sebring. So, you know, that's a debate of whether or not that's going to matter today. Judging by lap times, it doesn't seem like it's the hugest factor. Guillermo does seem to, at the time at least, be a tiny bit quicker than Performance Engineer. But it's a question here as we close into the final 15 laps, if that's going to be fast enough to make the pass for the lead by the end of it. We close into the final corner. And I think Perf stays out yet another lap here. R15 is showing, unfortunately, just a little bit too late. Jen now at risk of falling 2 laps down. I mean, that being said, we're looking at the times ticking down. Guillermo is closing down the gap little by little. Could be trying to get quick time. You know, that's of course another opportunity to get the fastest time of the day. These tires, they wear down, the cars get a little looser, but as Dabcat has described it earlier, it breaks in the tires, and we've definitely seen that have an effect about 10 to 15 laps in. And folks, would you guess so that's about how many laps it got left? Here's performance closing down little by little here on Jen. Of course, Jen's draft is going to help him significantly. That mouse out of the way for you. And you can see it in the times. Guillermo 2 has lost a slight bit of a gap there. He is back to 15 seconds. And as long as he can stay, as long as Perf can get into the draft of Jen, that'll help him out significantly. We saw this as a factor during qualifying when Performance decided to stay back and still draft out of other drivers. Short shifted out of turn number 3. That time by, Guillermo actually looked to have gained a little bit once again, but I mean, we are down to the final 13 laps here. Little wide there coming out, Performance Engineer. Yes. Okay, Jen. I mean, I guess.
Jen, that's the second warning.
I mean, he's.
Don't do that.
He's so far back at this point. I mean, I don't know if it really matters.
Don't do it.
He's gonna cut back inside, and Perf will make their way by. They get out of the draft once again. Is back to Perf here on his own. That'll help out Guillermo 2 significantly. If Guillermo can potentially get a draft off of Jen as they get closer, that'll help him out. But we're seeing Performance Engineer writing out the no pit strategy. I think at this point, I think it's a question. I would say it's about a little bit too late to do a pit stop if you want to maintain a lead. Of course, Guillermo 2 is ticking down little by little. It's just really going to be a factor of Performance Engineer staying out of trouble, trying not to spin. And as long as he stays out of spinning, of course, that's what cost Twin the race. I think Twin had some speed still on that Porsche when we came back to another race like this at Sebring. So just needs to stay out of spinning, but of course once the tires get looser and looser, it gets harder and harder to pull those saves. Again, this is a higher grip track, so that might not be as much of an issue as it was at Sebring. But boy, Guillermo is ticking down those lap times. Significant gap gain, 13 seconds. He's going to get a little bit of aid from Performance Engineer. I mean, from Jen. Might be cooking up two completely different strategies coming into play today. Just begs the question if pitting was the move or not. We'll switch back to Guillermo 2, the silver Porsche. As far as it goes for sector, significantly faster than Performance Engineer. Performance is all the way on the start-finish line. We turn back to Giram. Giram is just a couple turns back.
Warning on Muffin, don't cut the course.
And it looks like Giram is a little bit back once again, but he's gonna have some help here. There's Jen. Oh, what a interesting flick coming out of turn number 3. I saw that. Just kind of hooked the tires on the inside of that curve, allowed him to slide through the corner quite a bit of speed. I don't know if that was faster or not. I'm gonna check that sector. It doesn't really look that way. Here's Performance Engineer across the start-finish line. 40-minute race, about 45 laps here. I believe 8 laps to go. Boy, Perf has been building up a gap. You know, Giram was a guy when it came just before that pit stop, but it looks like pitting may not have been the strategy today. Seven laps to go. And it looks like Muffin might be at risk of falling a lap down. That, once again, is definitely going to help Performance Engineer. Yermovets 2 has a bit of aid from drafting for the time being, as he closes into Jen. As a faster Sector 1. Six laps to go, and it looks like there's 2 targets actually in mind. There's Dabcat and there is Muffin. Timing is looking right for Performance Engineer. It's just about a straightaway there with Performance Engineer separating him from Yermovets 2. But just might be too much at this point of the race. Next time by, we'll be seeing 5 laps to go. Performance Engineer's got some good timing. He's just behind some lap cars, so that'll help him significantly. Yermovets 2 is already by Jen, so he's not gonna get really not gonna get a lot of draft aid coming to the last 5 laps. But that being said, we are now in the final 5 laps. 5 laps to go here at Goteborg. Dabcat peeking down low. He's currently riding out in the 4th place position. And I actually think this might be a battle for position for 4th place. So here is Jen on the inside. Crossing around the outside. That is Muffin. Battle for 3rd. It's not a battle for 3rd, so Muffin is safe. Technically, the car that is a position behind him, just immediately behind him, but they have a whole lap on him. So, 4 to go for your leader, Performance Engineer. Fastest time by will be in the final 3 laps. Across the start finish line, 3 to go for your leader, Performance Engineer. He is within range of Dabcat, almost, I think just in a couple turns, he'll be in the draft. Jen says DNF me. You say so. Perf will pull it off, or sorry, Jen will pull it off the track.
To give game hope.
DNF cause, too hungry.
Alright, well thank you for coming, Jen.
We're down to 4 cars. Performance Engineer right behind Dabcat. Next time by, there will be 2 laps to go. Performance Engineer gonna make the move. He's gonna pass. Next one up is Muffin. Again, he's got help from 2 cars, 2 lap cars here to draft off of. Guillermo is pretty much without any help. 2 laps to go. I think I consider it's just about over. It just takes some really big, it's gonna have to take some big moments here for Performance to lose it. Of course, we've seen it before. Flashback to AIC East. It was on my birthday back in 2022. There was an unfortunate flip on the final lap for Performance Engineer. I believe that was Twin that managed to take the win, if I recall correctly. There was, of course, a flip that we've seen here in the Rods mods. And we may be trying to bless the field with the commentator's curse. With that being said, Performance Engineer across the start-finish line. The white flag in the air has been taking the lead ever since the pit stop. It's been a Saturday cruise here for the number 7. One last time this year through the tunnel into the oval corner. I mean, just an awesome performance today by Performance Engineer. He's gone without pitting. I know that he tends to be very good at strategies like these, like Twin. He's gonna make it work this time. Comes into the last set of corners. Performance Engineers, 1 turn to go. The final corner. Here he goes, down the front straightaway. Performance Engineer almost hitting the tire, but Performance Engineer will win the Swedish Grand Prix. Dabcat gonna come up in 4th place automatically.
Alright, drivers, when you cross the start finish,
Your
you are
methods
finished.
2. Down the front straight will cross the line in 2nd place. There's 1 more car left on the track. It is Muffin. All they gotta do is make their way 1 final time around the course, and they will manage to make a podium finish today. Here comes Muffin across the line, and they cross in 3rd. Got some discrepancies coming out of Gear Methods too. I was not aware that. All right. Well, if we could get our podium, your race winner, of course, give it out to Performance Engineer. Make their victory lap.
All right, thank you for coming, everybody. I know it's been a bit of a scuffed race. I'm not gonna make excuses. Yeah, we will work together harder to make the next race in the season a lot better. You guys come get ready to take a podium shot. Um, After that, people who aren't in the podium, you are free to leave.
Alright, it is going to be over here. By the way, when you get up the steps, you'll see there is a Viking hat you can put on if you'd like. There's a button to your hat.
So people who are on the podium, Perfurum and Muffin. Somebody left. I believe that was Jen. Alright, you taking the photo or shall I?
Let me,
Take that as a mead.
Alright, I will proceed with the national anthem of the winning
Perfect, if you
driver.
can stand on the golden thing for me, please. Thank you. Everybody say cheese. Alright, photo's taken. Thanks a lot again, guys. I do apologize. It has been quite a scuffed race. That my phone dying halfway through with the timer did not help at all. But hopefully next race we will have everything a lot more organized. Yes, you guys are all free to leave whenever you all feel like it. I will be moving back up to the general VC if you guys have any issues with how things went. Just either DM it to me or put it in feedbacks. Um, yeah. You guys have a good day.
Thanks to all the drivers that showed up to today's race. I hope you guys had a fun time. Giram, I was not aware of your question. I would have asked Nico more directly if I could have. So, I'm sorry about that. But, I had presumed, historically speaking, it was not a requirement. Because we saw Twin Turbo V6 do this during Sebring where he did not pit. And he managed to, you know, almost win it until he spun out on the final lap. So, I think that's what I think that's what Muffin was trying to specify. So, he's not at the VC, but yeah. Anyways, thank you guys. I think I have a bottle. Let me make it macros. Alright. Well, for my stream's sake, thank you to those that have partaken in today's race. Please give Nico's League a check out. It's genuinely worth the time. I know that today's race could have gone a little better, but it's been a bit of a struggling league. Save a league today. Genuinely, it needs help. It is great to see and help other leagues where they can't be helped. So, uh, it is worth checking out the Porsche Cup League. You know, it is very similar in style to the old-fashioned GTI races, just as a spec class. So, for those that are interested in that style of racing, please, I would suggest to check out the league. That being said, there is there's 2 races coming up this weekend, or this next week. Of course, there's the Russian Grand Prix, which will be taking place in the Yekaterinburg Autodrome. Of course, that is a fictional track. It has not been ran since 2024. I believe there might have been some CC events held there, but like the Goteborg Roadcourse, it has been a long while since the last major event there. But that being said, it has ran it has ran some significant route spot races. We had trophies set up last year. We tried to run it last year, but unfortunately we could not get a field. But we are gonna attempt again this year. Got some nice Russian doll trophies. There's a new tank. We intend to reprofile one of the corners to be just a rounded out left or right hand turn. Of course, the infamous S's that were blind corners are more than likely going to be reprofiled into a right hander. Uh, there's also going to be a midget race on Thursday night. We intend to run them at Wisconsin International Speedway. Uh, so hopefully we'll get a good race out of that. That being said, thank you guys for checking out for another race. Again, please check out WFRA. They genuinely are struggling. So if you want leagues like this to survive, you want to support a league, this is a league I personally endorse. I think the racing here can be fantastic again. Nico used to run SLC when I stepped down for a couple of seasons to focus on racing. The hosting and style of racing of this league is very similar. It's a bit more casual than SLC in most ways, some ways more than others. So if you guys want to do more racing, please check out WFRA. Nico also will be doing other events occasionally throughout the season, I believe, as he feels. Of course, I did mention to him the supercar race that was planned to be on Monroe. We'll be seeing if that'll be a factor, if that'll be possible next year. Genuinely do want to do a UD style race if I can. If not, I may inquire to Jen about doing so in Toga Development. Not really sure if you'd be down for that or not. But that being said, finally, just wanted to say it's been fun to see WFRA finally get into business. You know, there's been a lot of ups and downs ever since Nico stepped down from SLC as the league owner. Once he started focusing on WFRA, he's been he's been really trying to get this to work out. Might be a little tricky. Apparently he's got college, so and from what I've heard, he might not be able to use his computer. So we're gonna see how races get ran with that in consideration. Hopefully he'll get something figured out. But whatever happens, happens. We're just gonna try to run something for the future. So thank you everyone, And that will be it for today and the rest of the weekend. So there's all your races. We had a Holy Trilogy, the Midgets on Thursday, Rotsmons with the Viking 100 on Friday, and some road course racing on Saturday. So there's your feed of road course, short track, and uh, super speedway style racing. Of course, I guess this isn't really a super speedway per se. It is our largest Rotsmon oval. So I put up a great race last night. Definitely check out that stream. There's a lot of action, of course, with the midgets as well. There's a good amount of action at the start of the race until that pit stop that Garam did. So I'd say, it's been a pretty solid race. So thank you to everybody, and I will see you guys on the next race.